In our last program, we were joined by financial planner Claire Mackay as we looked at how women can get back on their financial feet after a divorce. Well, a divorced man who saw that program wondered aloud to me if he'd made the right decision allowing his wife to take the house while he took his superannuation. They're the two biggest assets in a divorce settlement, and Claire Mackay has kindly agreed to return to look at that vexing issue. Claire, super or the house, you're in the middle of a divorce settlement. Who should go for what and why?
Well, I think when it comes to determining the split of assets in a divorce, it's looking at the overall picture. You know, the main asset generally is the family home and your super, and then there's all the other assets. The other consideration is also the income earning ability of the relative parties. And so when making that decision, it's where you're going to live, because everyone needs to live somewhere, and how are you going to fund your lifestyle now and in the future. And so it's that balance between accessibility of funds today, or maybe tying them up in super. The consideration also takes into account the fact of your age. Can you access your super sooner, or is it going to be another 20, 30 years before you can touch it? It's not a simple answer, but it's a process of looking at where you are now, where you want to be, and what do you need to get there.
And just expanding on what you said in that answer, if you do take the super, your assets are tied away till at least 55, so that could really crimp your lifestyle.
Absolutely, absolutely. Having said that though, you can't sell a living room of your family home. So again, it's a lumpy asset. So it's that balance. For many clients, whether we need the family home is an issue. If children are now independent, do you really need a large family home? And so potentially realising that asset and sharing the proceeds is sometimes a good compromise. If your children are young, then that's a completely different consideration, because obviously your main objective is supporting your family, providing for their education and their living expenses. And super is not as a bigger concern. Plus you've got more time to develop your retirement fund.
But I guess if the children are young and the parents are sharing the care, they may need two houses.
True. It is one of those things where for each party to understand what they want now, but also have a view for the future. And recognising that if we just go looking at the assets today and what we want to achieve in the short term, you may neglect what you need longer term. So for example, maybe the wife in the situation is going to be looking after the children and may not have the earning capacity of her former partner. Then yes, she'll look after the children, but what is going to be her backup plan when the children are left home and she's looking at how does she fund the rest of her life? So it's a complicated issue, but it's a decision that when working through the issues, you can become comfortable in making those decisions and weighing up the various competing issues.
Just on women have interrupted working lives because of the children and therefore have a lot less super than men. Would you advise women to take all the super if they can get it, if they have the capacity to put a roof over their head, even if it means they have to rent for a while before they can buy again? I'd
say, for women, but also for men, keeping an element of super in the mix is very important, because that's your future you. I guess that's your funding your future lifestyle. So it's not a black or white, all or nothing approach. And I think that in a amicable divorce, recognising that compromise will lead to both parties having a degree of confidence about their financial future is one of the best things to approach it in that mindset.
So what I heard you say then is split the super and split the house.
Unless there are compelling reasons, I think that an element of super, and depending on the particular circumstances of the individuals involved, if there is a desire to retain the home for the bringing up of the children, but if that's not so much of an issue, then potentially recognising that that a compromise can be met for both parties.
Claire Mackay, lots of interesting things for people to think about there. Thank you again for your time.
It's a pleasure, Andrew.